It's finally here. Joker Folie Deux, with Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role as Arthur Fleck, and Mother Monster Lady Gaga takes on the role of Lee Twinzel, a new take on Harley Quinn. It opened exactly 5 years after the original one did in 2019 to a very, very mixed reception, and so the question, was it worth it, is perhaps more important than ever when it comes to a film for me. But first, let us take a look back at Joker 2019, the first ever R-rated film to gross $1 billion, and evaluate whether that's still any good or not. The Joker film from 2019 follows Arthur Fleck, a failed stand-up comedian who becomes moulded by the society around him. It is a harrowing story about mental health, detailing how society treats someone who really needs help from the world and doesn't get it, looking at the extreme of what could happen to that person, which is they go insane, and starts pushing back against the society that inadvertently created him. He becomes a symbol that he perhaps doesn't necessarily want to be, that he wants to be recognised but doesn't get that recognition as Arthur Fleck but as Joker. Society doesn't care about Arthur Fleck. He's right, if he was the one dying on the sidewalk, people would walk right over him. Society doesn't care about people like him with mental disabilities. All he ever wants is recognition and understanding throughout the film, shown when he wants just a bit of respect from Thomas Wayne, which he doesn't get, a bit of understanding from his boss, which he doesn't get, and gets no recognition or understanding from the city as a whole when his therapeutic-like sessions funding is cut. He's hit down again and again by society, and what happens to someone like that? Well, they go insane and start to fight back, but in extreme ways, which really starts with when he kills the 3 people in the subway and continues to when he kills Murray on live TV. And Murray is the worst of them, for Arthur at least. His live show was Arthur's guilty pleasure, his only enjoyment in life, and something he enjoyed to watch. However, he makes fun of Arthur not knowing about his condition before inviting him on the show because people find him funny, not because they like him, essentially betraying Arthur without knowing it. Imagine the person you look up to and is a guilty pleasure for you makes fun of you. You would go insane as well. And that's Joker. I wonder if my interpretation of the film will change when we study it at school. However, what will not change is everything else. All the performances here are excellent. Robert De Niro is great as Murray, but Joaquin Phoenix rightfully was nominated and won an Oscar for his performance here because it is phenomenal. The film was shot exceptionally well and the cinematography is great also. All the intricate filmmaking details are mostly done well here. I think the biggest letdowns for me is Super Rats being mentioned and then never going anywhere. And then the portrayal of Gotham. I think this is the weakest interpretation of Gotham we've ever had, because there's not much other than dialogue to tell us that it is actually Gotham. It just feels like a city in America. There's no Wayne Enterprises like the Dark Knight trilogy. There's no Tim Burton or Matt Reeves style to make it their own. It's just a city, and I was constantly forgetting it was Ethan Gotham and Batman adjacent, and that's not good. But hey, that's just me. It is still a great film with dance elements spread throughout, which is important for the sequel, and an interesting story with a protagonist broken by society. 8 out of 10. So, how was Folie Deux? Isn't that the question of the week? First and foremost, if you are a Gaga fan despite her limited screen time, she gives an excellent performance as Lee Twinzel, who does actually get called Harley Quinn once in the film, and her psychiatry background is also mentioned once. But to see her perform on the big screen is 100% worth it if you're a fan of her, as she is so compelling as an actress, and it is such a shame that a couple of her scenes were cut. Joaquin Phoenix is as great as he was in the original film. Not better, but more importantly, he's not worse. The cinematography and shots are fantastic, as they were in the first film as well, and those deserve the big screen for sure. Then there's the story, which is everyone's problem with the film. First, let's just talk about the musical aspects. Some are in Arthur's head, some are not. However, my problem is not that they're here. My problem is that they are implemented very poorly and feel like they drag out the film instead of advancing it, and somehow wastes Lady Gaga's singing abilities by making her supposedly unlearn how to sing it, which is how it feels. It makes the Harley Quinn album even funnier as an album, as she's making sure everyone knows that she can still sing before her new pop album comes out. And my god, can she. But the musical stuff just feels like a wasted concept more than something that didn't need to be in the film. Now, before we dive into the story for real this time, the film does imply essay, and I will only refer to it as essay, so if that's a sensitive topic for you, that's your warning, because I will be mentioning it briefly. So the film is about Harvey Dent taking Arthur to court to get the death penalty for the murders that he committed 2 years prior. And during this, Joker is getting support even though it's Arthur who goes to court. The film is a breakdown of Arthur Fleck as a character and whether or not his Joker personality is actually real or not. And it is a demonstration of how people don't care about Arthur Fleck just as Arthur Fleck. They only care when he's Joker. The idea of Joker is all they care about. This is demonstrated through Lee, who loves Joker and makes Arthur put on the Joker makeup before they have sex. And when he admits that there really was no Joker, she is the first to leave and others leave behind her, highlighting that they really don't give a shit about Arthur or his feelings, only Joker. And why he admitted there was no Joker? Well, it's implied that the prison guards essentially essayed it out of him, which is horrible. And then the ending, Arthur is stabbed by an inmate as he gets what he deserves, almost poetically repeating the words he said to Murray back at him. And so Arthur Fleck dies by someone who was inspired by Joker, not him, once again solidifying that no one cares about people with mental illnesses like him, and that society in Gotham is completely and utterly fucked. So I wonder if these Joker films are films that show a Joker who inspires the Joker who would later fight Batman down the line as a result of the movements and Joker on the show of Murray, since Bruce Wayne is just a kid at this moment, who lost his parents a couple years before. But while it's a well shot and acted film, it can drag due to the poor musical implementation and a shifting tone constantly throughout the film, at the start mostly though, but it's not as horrible as Twitter says that it is. It's watchable, it's serviceable, and I love Lady Gaga and she definitely makes it more watchable for me. Folie Deux gets a 6 out of 10. And that's my review of both the Joker films. I think the second one is getting unwarranted levels of hate about it, if I'm being completely honest. It's completely watchable and nowhere near as bad as everyone is saying, but it's still not amazing. I'll see you all soon, hopefully. Peace out.